G'day. This video is going to be about some scenarios that I come across on my walk with Rollo, which you can see, sorry for the shaky camera, him in front of me there. I just need to untangle the leash as we've just got out the car. So to introduce the video, all I'm going to do is cut out large portions of this footage and talk about a couple of the highlights, which will be coming up shortly. I've largely disabled the audio, the original audio. If it's important, I'll bring it back in, but it's not really. So it was windy, so I've taken that right down. So I'll run through a few scenarios that we come across and discuss why I do what I do. And hopefully you can see how that helps Rollo to be the calm dog that he is, and why I'm completely trusting of him to handle the situations that we've come across. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. So here's the first dog we're going to meet, with the owner pulling the dog back. This dog is a little bit nervous. It was barking at Rollo a little bit once he got close to it, but that's going to be driven by the owner's reaction. I'll freeze the frame in a sec so you can see it. But you see the owner move the dog back out of the way. There's a lunge there and a bark at Rollo. So this dog is a bit nervous, as is the owner. In the original audio, I'm telling the owner to just relax, let the dog go. If he wants to bark at Rollo, that's fine. It's okay. Some dogs come up to other dogs and bark. This dog wasn't trying to avoid Rollo. It did step back after its bark there, but that was due mostly to the leash pressure. So we'll start playing the clip again in a sec, and you'll see how it goes. Now the dog does actually follow Rollo around the back here, and it tries to sniff him, tries to stick its neck out and get to him there, if you saw it in the corner. It tries to meet Rollo, but it's being restrained by the leash. And part of the reason this dog remains anxious about other dogs, and he's barking again there, is because it's not allowed to go and investigate the other dogs. It's not allowed to meet them. It's not allowed to work out what's friend, foe, indifferent, because the owner's just restraining it on the leash because they're concerned about what the dog's going to do or what the other dog might react in return to the reaction from their dog. And the best way to have a smooth, calm meeting, which you're about to see here, is just to be relaxed. There's a little bit of tension on this leash here, more than I personally would like. But because generally speaking it's a relaxed meeting, nothing goes wrong. You don't get your dog over that initial barky, not sure about meeting another dog phase until you are able to just relax and let things go, ideally with the dog you trust. If you can do that, I know public beach is perhaps not the best place for that in the world, but being relaxed on the leash is the way to go. You keep tension on that leash, you keep pushing it, or pushing the dog that way, or frustrate it, and it will never get calm with its environment. Okay, let's skip to the next one, where it will be same deal. So Rollo's about to turn left to a dog that's actually quite confident and wants to meet him on the beach here, and you'll see an owner which is of the opposite mind. The owner does not want their dog to meet Rollo. The owner clearly harbours some concerns about what will happen, but the dog actually seems quite confident and happy to do so, but the owner is restraining it with the leash, and that again, it just adds to frustration. You can see the dog getting frustrated because it's not allowed to do what it wants to do and not allowed to meet Rollo. It looks good, it looks happy to meet Rollo. It's just pulling on the leash, and the owner, although there's a smile on their face, is clearly nervous about what may occur here. I see my hand come across the camera there, telling her, just relax, let your leash go, it's fine. And her dog is fine, but she will sadly imprint nervousness onto her dog and frustration if she keeps withholding it like that, using the leash to pull it back from meeting another dog. It is an unfortunate, and it's the wrong thing to do. It does not allow a calm meeting between dogs. Okay, we'll move on to the final scenario in a sec. We're going to see Rollo lie down. Good point, actually. How do I get Rollo to just lie down when I want him to? Because I don't command him. When I stop walking and when we're not doing anything, he just lays down of his own accord because he knows we're not going anywhere. That's just part of the relationship we have. But you're going to see a gentleman come up to me, and he does ask if he can pet Rollo, and I say yes. And what was particularly interesting about this interaction that you'll see is the gentleman actually showed a little bit of anxiety and nervousness around Rollo. He was reticent to stick his hand out and pet him. And I had told him, please don't touch the top of Rollo's head. He doesn't like that. So you see a shadow move in here. So here we go. He comes in to see Rollo. And I'm not a fan of this sticking your hand out in front into another dog's face. That's a personal space invasion, and it's not called for. You don't need to do that. The dog doesn't need to smell your hand. They smelled you 5 minutes before you got there. They know who you are and what you're doing. Just see how slowly he held his hand out and just whisked it through the end of Rollo's fur. It's not a confident move in. I found this quite interesting and odd. Most people who approach me to pet Rollo and ask are confident dog people and really do want to get in and touch him and pet him. They're quite impressed to see him and want to get involved. It's very unusual for someone to ask me to touch my dog and then to actually seem like they're having instant regret and aren't really confident enough to do that. Yeah, so I've kept this bit in and thought it's just nice to see Rollo lying down on the beach. But yeah, very interesting interaction with a gentleman I don't know, and he did all right. He touched him, but yeah, I don't often see anxious people asking me to touch the dog. That's very rare. Yeah, and the other reason I'm leaving this in is that I didn't tell Rollo to lie down. I just stopped to talk to someone, and he lay down. That's what we do. When I stop moving, he either sits down or he lays down. He's being very nice there. He's letting someone touch top of his head, and you see he moves his head out of the way. It's like, I'm not really a fan of that, and he's not. And generally, I tell people don't do that, but I didn't realise the adult was going to touch him as well. I told him the child could. But yeah, back to that. Rollo lies down. I don't tell him to. There's no commands on him here. When I stop moving and I start talking to people, he either sits down or he lays down. That's just built into the relationship we have. I do not order my dog around like that. Anyway, here's a few seconds of Rollo at the end of our walk, just enjoying himself lying down on the beach. Hopefully you learned something from this video and you took away something about how frustrating it is for dogs to be restrained by a leash and how that builds up into not having a good meeting with another dog when confronted with one in front of them. So yeah, keep your leashes loose and you'll find meetings with other dogs go far, far smoother.